Jacob Zuma, South Africa's former president, has walked a tightrope strung between power and prosecution for years. His legal battles, encompassing corruption charges and contempt of court convictions, have ignited fierce debate about the potential for bias within the South African judiciary. This video delves into the heart of this debate, dissecting Zuma's complex legal history and critically analyzing the accusations of judicial prejudice. Zuma's legal entanglement dates back to the late 1990s, embroiling him in the infamous arms deal scandal. Accusations of bribery and kickbacks plagued him, leading to charges initially dropped in 2009, only to be resurrected a decade later. This back-and-forth saga fueled perceptions of political interference, casting a shadow over the impartiality of the legal process. Beyond the arms deal, Zuma's refusal to testify before a state capture inquiry investigating corruption during his presidency triggered a contempt of court charge and a 15-month imprisonment. Released on medical parole, Zuma continues to maintain his innocence and challenge his conviction, further amplifying the narrative of unfair treatment. However, claims of bias cannot exist in a vacuum. Analyzing statistics from South Africa's Judicial Commission offers crucial context. In 2020, over 95% of judicial decisions were upheld on appeal, suggesting a system functioning within established legal frameworks. Additionally, data reveals no significant disparities in conviction rates based on the political affiliations of defendants. While these figures paint a seemingly neutral picture, the complexity of legal battles involving high-profile figures like Zuma cannot be ignored. Accusations of selective leaks, questionable prosecutorial decisions, and political interference in witness testimonies continue to swirl. These narratives, even if unsubstantiated, can erode public trust in the judiciary, a cornerstone of any healthy democracy. This video serves as an invitation to a deeper conversation, one that goes beyond sensational headlines and delves into the intricate tapestry of facts, figures, and historical context. Only through such careful examination can we ensure that the scales of justice remain balanced, not just for Jacob Zuma, but for all who seek its protection. Zuma's political journey was not without controversy. Accusations of corruption began to dog his steps, culminating in his dismissal as deputy president in 2005. Charges of rape, later acquitted, further tarnished his image. Despite these obstacles, Zuma's popularity among certain ANC factions remained strong. He became party president in 2007 and, in 2009, ascended to the presidency of South Africa. Zuma's presidency was marked by both accomplishments and scandals. He implemented social welfare programs and expanded access to healthcare. However, allegations of state capture, where private interests allegedly influenced government decisions, dominated his term. The lavish Nkandla homestead renovation project became a symbol of excess and misuse of public funds. Zuma faced numerous legal challenges throughout his career. The rape trial, corruption charges, and allegations of state capture all saw him embroiled in lengthy legal battles. Some charges were dropped, while others resulted in acquittals or appeals. However, the shadow of legal scrutiny remained constant. For instance, in 2008, the Constitutional Court famously ruled against former President Thabo Mbeki's dismissal of Jacob Zuma, demonstrating the judiciary's power to check even the highest office. Such landmark judgments establish precedents and shape South Africa's legal landscape, ensuring consistent application of the law and fostering predictability. Zuma's legal journey boasts a complex chronology. The arms deal corruption case, spanning 2 decades, has witnessed multiple twists and turns. The 2009 decision dropping charges against him fueled accusations of political manipulation, later partially substantiated by the Zondo Commission. However, subsequent rulings haven't been entirely in Zuma's favor. The Supreme Court of Appeal overturned the 2016 dismissal of corruption charges, and his various attempts to delay the trial have faced judicial scrutiny. Notably, Judge Dlodlo's recusal over potential personal connections to Zuma highlighted the sensitivity surrounding the case. Evaluating these decisions objectively isn't straightforward. While some see them as upholding the rule of law, others interpret them as targeting a specific individual. The intricate legal maneuvers and ongoing litigation make definitive conclusions challenging. Zuma himself has consistently painted a picture of unfair treatment. He portrays himself as a victim of political persecution, specifically targeting the ruling ANC faction opposed to him. This narrative resonated with his supporters, who view him as a champion of the marginalized and see his legal woes as politically motivated. Zuma's public pronouncements often cast aspersions on individual judges, accusing them of bias based on personal or political affiliations. These claims, though unsubstantiated, find fertile ground among his loyal base, further solidifying the perception of a biased judiciary. The public discourse surrounding the judiciary reflects South Africa's deep societal divisions. Zuma's supporters readily echo his allegations of bias, citing historical injustices and perceived anti-Zuma sentiment within the legal system. This fuels distrust in the judiciary, potentially undermining its legitimacy. However, others view these claims as a smokescreen to deflect accountability. They see Zuma's legal troubles as a necessary step towards combating corruption and upholding the rule of law. This segment of the population expresses confidence in the judiciary's impartiality. The Nkandla scandal centered on former President Jacob Zuma's sprawling homestead in KZN. Accusations swirled that state funds were used to upgrade the property with lavish features like a swimming pool and amphitheater, blurring the lines between public and private expenditure. The public protector found Zuma liable for a portion of the costs, sparking a protracted legal battle. In a landmark 2016 ruling, the Constitutional Court found Zuma had violated the Constitution and ordered him to repay some of the funds. This marked a significant moment in holding high-ranking officials accountable, though the saga's full financial and political repercussions remain debated. The multi-billion-dollar arms deal, signed in the late 1990s, was mired in allegations of corruption from the outset. Accusations of bribery and kickbacks cast a long shadow over the procurement process, with Zuma's involvement a central point of contention. Despite years of investigations and legal proceedings, no definitive verdict has been reached. The case exemplifies the intricate networks and challenges in tackling high-level corruption, highlighting the need for robust investigative bodies and a commitment to upholding the rule of law. Established in 2018, the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into State Capture delved deep into allegations of widespread corruption during Zuma's presidency. The Commission's hearings have unearthed a web of state capture, where private interests allegedly influence government decisions for personal gain. Zuma's refusal to appear before the Commission further strained relations with the judiciary and underscored the ongoing struggle for accountability. The Commission's final report holds the potential to shape the course of justice in South Africa, potentially leading to criminal charges and broader reforms to combat corruption. These three cases, chock distinct in nature, paint a complex picture of South Africa's legal landscape. They reveal the intricate interplay between political power, public scrutiny, and the fight against corruption. The Nkandla ruling underscored the judiciary's role in holding powerful individuals accountable, while the arms deal case highlights the ongoing struggle to untangle complex webs of corruption. The Zondo Commission's work demonstrates the importance of independent inquiries in exposing wrongdoing and paving the way for potential reforms. While challenges remain, these cases also offer glimpses of hope. The Constitutional Court's ruling, public engagement with the Zondo Commission, and ongoing legal proceedings demonstrate a collective commitment to upholding the rule of law. South Africa's journey towards a more just and equitable society hinges on navigating these legal complexities and ensuring accountability for all, regardless of power or position. Zuma supporters often cite past instances of political interference in the justice system, fueling their belief that the legal apparatus harbors an inherent bias against him. They point to the lengthy delays in the trial, perceived inconsistencies in rulings, and even the judge's personal pronouncements as evidence of an uneven playing field. These concerns, though deeply felt, cannot be ignored, as they erode public trust in the very institution meant to uphold justice. An independent and impartial judiciary is the bedrock of any thriving democracy. It ensures equal access to justice, protects individual rights, and fosters public confidence in the rule of law. When cracks of perceived bias appear, the foundation of democracy itself trembles. Citizens lose faith in the system's ability to deliver fair and objective outcomes, breeding cynicism and potentially fueling social unrest. Addressing these concerns requires more than simply dismissing them as unfounded. Open and honest dialogue between all stakeholders, the judiciary, legal practitioners, civil society, and the public, is crucial. This dialogue must delve into the root causes of perceived bias, examining historical injustices, potential shortcomings in judicial processes, and the impact of media narratives. Constructive dialogue must pave the way for meaningful reforms. This could involve enhancing transparency in judicial appointments, implementing stricter recusal guidelines, and providing clearer avenues for challenging perceived bias. Importantly, these reforms must never compromise the independence and integrity of the judiciary. They must serve to strengthen public trust, not undermine the very principles upon which the justice system stands. The path forward is not without its challenges. Deeply entrenched perceptions are difficult to dispel, and political agendas can often cloud genuine efforts at reform. However, the stakes are high. By fostering open dialogue, implementing well-considered reforms, and upholding the rule of law, South Africa can navigate the complex terrain of perceived bias and emerge with a justice system that truly serves all its citizens. This journey requires courage, commitment, and a shared vision for a just and equitable future. Only then can the scales of justice truly hang in balance, free from the shadows of perceived bias. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe.